know that you had a great experience at Intel. It was a good 1.5-year experience, but then you switched to ARM. So why did you feel a job switch was necessary?
So, to be honest, I won't suggest anybody to have a job switch so early in the career. For me, it was a different case because I wanted to shift to abroad and see the work culture over here and the life over here. That's why I switched. Otherwise, for anybody else in the hardware industry, especially, so what happens is people have this notion of switching jobs for hikes and all that, especially in the software domain, which is okay for the software domain, I feel. But in hardware domain, I still suggest anybody to have a adequate work experience, let's say 3 4 years or sometimes 5 years in a industry, like in a particular company, and then you switch, because it's very essential to understand the workflow in hardware. Like, because if you switch so early, it might be a trouble for you to understand the workflow if your team is very slow at learning. Like in my case, the learning was quite fast, so for me it was okay to switch. But there might be some teams where the learning is slow and you're switching at a very early level, then it will hamper your knowledge. So yeah, and second thing is, I think that a person should switch a job when, like, let's say you have a problem, you can talk with the managers or somebody that I have this problem, and they will do their best to ensure that you don't have that problem anymore. And when you feel that you have learned everything from that company, and like there is nothing else to learn, there is nothing new you can pursue over there, then people either switch teams or preferably they switch the company also. So at that point of time, you can think of a switch, that okay, I have learned everything, there's nothing else I can learn over here, I need a high, like I need a shift to something else so that I can do a different work and I learn different way of protocols and all that, and okay, I need to switch. That would be a correct time to switch, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so when the tasks get repetitive, it's a signal.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. When you feel
Okay.
that your work is going repetitive, then also some people talk with their managers. They either transfer them to different teams or something. But for any reason, if that is not happening, or let's say you have an interest which is not there at Intel, which is not present at Intel or any company, and you think that, okay, this organization in that company is working on that and I want to pursue that and all, then go for a switch. That's good. Yeah.
Okay. And in that, you mentioned about workflow. Like if you know the workflow, it's good that you move on to the next. But what can you define that workflow word?
Every company has a different workflow, the style of work that they do. For example, when I shifted to ARM, I had
Mm.
to learn the work culture over there. Like there are a lot of trainings that you need to do to understand how the workflow works there. So workflow basically includes the way they handle a project. Okay, like
Okay.
like the life cycle of a project, you can say. And not necessarily every company will follow the same protocol, right? So when I mean protocol, it basically means that there are two IPs or there are two RTL blocks, and when you bridge those two RTL blocks, you have a interface. Okay, and sometimes that interface is governed by certain kind of protocols that make sure that the entry and exit of signals into each like into the like into both the IPs are governed properly, like nothing is getting misused over there. So that is called protocol. So not necessarily every company is going to use the same protocol. There can be different protocols used in different company, and you need to know how they work, like, or you need to know on an overall top level view that okay, if this is a protocol, it is going to work that way. So you need to have that idea. So for me, like obviously, like after joining ARM, I had to spend around 1 month of time to understand the workflow of the company. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you're early in your career, you should not be spending your time in just learning the workflows. What is important to you is, okay, you got into a great company, spend your time over there, and you learn all the things, so that when you go to your next job, you are not the one learning, you are somebody who are making people, like who are helping people learn. That's what I meant.
Yes, ma'am. Got it,
Yeah.
ma'am. So you switched to ARM, and it was a off-campus experience, as you told earlier. Uh,
So, like, ARM I joined through LinkedIn.
okay.
So Yeah, the thing is, I got a message from the HR recruiter at ARM, supposedly 7 to 9 months back before I replied them because I was not aware of it. So after 7 months, I replied to that message. Luckily, the position was open at that time as well. So yeah, I think ARM was doing a hiring spree for quite a lot of months. So
Okay.
that's why then my interview was scheduled and I gave the interview and I came in. Yeah.
So you talked about hiring spree. So did you remember applying at or it was a offer coming in front of it?
Sorry, when I told hiring spree, that means that ARM was recruiting for a lot of months.
Okay.
So now it went global, right? ARM, like it got listed in the
Yeah.
tech. So that's the reason they have been recruiting for many time, I think. That's my opinion. So yeah, I got a message from the recruiter and I applied through it. I showed my interest over there. Yeah.
Okay. So I believe your work experience would have really impressed the
Yes.
recruiter, and that would have
The difference in my first interview with Intel and my second interview with ARM was that in the ARM interview, it was not digital electronics or puzzles or system Verilog. Yeah, Verilog was definitely there, but the questions were more on my projects which I did on Intel, more on the let's say they'll give you a set of design and they will ask you to verify it in a short period of time in front of them only. They will expect you to write the checkers and all. So and it will be more like in formal verifications, the flow is basically, understanding the specification, then coming up with an English list of checkers, and then in that English list of checkers also we have these two different categories, interface checkers and end to end. So interface is basically, like if two outputs are there and how they behave with each other, whereas end to end is basically your input to output behavior. And then after you write your checkers, it's expected to give you a full tick in the Jasper tool. Full tick means that it has done the breadth level plus the depth level and there is no error found, okay? But if it doesn't give you a full tick because of the complexity, you need to apply certain techniques so that it gives you that full tick. And how will you apply that? If you know the design and you can, like, let's say
right.
a FIFO is there of 200 depth, and since the FIFO behaves the same, instead of 200 you can reduce it to 20. Functionality wise it will still be same, and 20 will be more easier to cover than 200, right? So you'll apply certain techniques. Then there is a thing called coverage analysis that you
Hmm.
need to perform, that basically shows you that okay, these were the outputs, it has been covered and your design is 99% verified. Okay, so this is the workflow. So there they ask me questions on that. So that is the difference, what, like, basically on a fresher level interview and on a
Yes, ma'am.
experienced level interview. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So if we say at fresher applying for off-campus opportunities, so would you suggest the same subjects, digital and Verilog, or would you suggest something else?
For
More.
freshers, I suggest the
Yes, ma'am.
same subjects. Yeah.
Okay. Even for off-campus, they do it
Yeah, yeah.
diligently, whatever.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. This ARM opportunity was at Cambridge office. So,
Yeah.
it's quite new to me that HR messages in front from front and ask you for working there. So, you also wanted to work abroad, and then you shifted to Cambridge.
So the thing is, as I said, formal verification engineers right now, not only formal to be honest, the hardware industry is growing a lot, especially
Yes.
silicon industry, you can say.
Yes, ma'am.
It's growing like crazy. And especially if you are from companies like, Intel, Nvidia, or AMD, the top growing companies, then to be honest, it's quite easier for you to, switch to abroad. Like if you're from these companies and if you belong to, like, if you had graduated from an IIT, it's really very easy for you to get an interview, and then it depends on how your interview goes. So yeah, it was quite good experience for me, you can say. But otherwise for some people it might be a problem, because if you're not from IIT, then sometimes your resume doesn't get selected and all that things happen. So yeah, moving to abroad might take a lot from, like, it might expect you to have a good CV and all from a good institution, from a good company. But if you don't consider moving abroad, there are still a lot of opportunities in India, like in companies like Intel, Synopsys, and all that. Yeah, they
And
still offer you job even if you're not from IIT or anything. They'll only
yes,
look for
ma'am.
your skill. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Regarding India's perspective, what is the thing is that there's really a job shortage in jobs are there, but they need skilled guys. So in this
Right.
in this scenario of recession, what would you advise your fresher? Because your off-campus experience had been a bit different from others. So, but if you still would have to advise, like how to get through, because the industry, the market is full with 1 year experienced people, and there are freshers who are just graduating from college and they aren't with jobs due to recession. So, what would you advise them?
So, see, for software engineers, I'll come to hardware
VLSI.
engineers.
Ah,
I'll come to there, but for
okay.
software engineers, what I think is necessary is a lot of coding practice. And second thing is, the internship actually quite helps a lot. Like in my college, there were tons of juniors who were doing their internship from Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. And then later, that internship helped them get a full-time employment over there. So I will suggest, like, basically, I think they do some Google Summer of Code or something. Amazon
Yes.
also does such kind of thing, right? So if you try over there and you get an internship, then it is really helpful for you in the future. And yeah, but in the hardware, what I will say is, first of all, you need to have a thorough knowledge, as I mentioned. And second thing, which is important, is connections. Okay. So when I say connections, that doesn't mean that they will help you, get into a company, but at least you will know about the opportunities. Like I said, in our case, our seniors used to work over there, and then they let us know about this opportunity into our college. So like, that's what, like, you need to have connections with them, so that if any opening is coming over in the company, they let you know and you can apply over there. Because most of the times, like, if you're not in an active job search, you miss it, like you miss the deadlines and all that. Third thing which I'll suggest is LinkedIn is really helpful, because like, first of all, you can build a good CV, and you keep on updating your profile, and you keep on update, like, let's say you're doing a small project in BTech also, you like, make a post about it, like, you tell people what you learn and all that. And you can connect, like, you see many people post about job openings over there, and you can get in touch with them directly instead of following the old method of email and all. So that is like, and I think nowadays you have that thing also, that you can apply to any company through LinkedIn, like they have a certain link over there. So yeah, I think LinkedIn is very helpful in, getting in touch or touch with people who are recruiting. Yes.
Yes, ma'am, and I can relate with this because you told about posting projects. When we post our projects, when we get connection requests and our network grows, so
Yeah.
that really helped me in my process. But yeah, using LinkedIn and leveraging it is very crucial for off campus. Yes.
And second thing is, like, when I was in Intel, I used to get a lot of messages from my juniors to refer them at a job
Mm.
opportunities at Intel. That is also one thing you can do. Like, let's say your senior is at a good company and you see job openings over there, you can message them and, let them know that these are your skills, and you are willing to, go for that interview. So can you please refer me? So these are the things which will really help. And even though they're not your seniors, even though it is a random person, and you see an opportunity, you can just message them about it in LinkedIn, and they'll definitely help you. Like, obviously, if I refer to someone who I see whose CV is really skillful and all, like, it will be a good opportunity for them, and I'll also feel better about, referring them to my company. So LinkedIn is really helpful for that.
Okay, so after the referrals, what I have seen that we get a referral, but the resume doesn't get shortlisted. Maybe the reason for that is that my CV is not competitive enough. So to make
Yes.
it competitive enough, so what are the projects you will suggest? Again, going back to your younger self, having studied
Mhm.
digital and Verilog, what kind of projects freshers can do? Uh,
What I think is the reason. your CV is not shortlisted is not because of the projects,
Okay.
it's because of your CGPAs. Okay, so like you receive thousands of CVs, you cannot go like none of them goes through your CV. Okay, they have certain websites or something where they filter your CVs based on your CGPAs. Like if you're a BTech graduate, or let's say if you're an MTech graduate, they consider your last degree CGPA. If it is not good enough, they discard it. They take the first like let's say there are 1,000 applicants, they only like select the first 20 applicants. Okay, so it's really important you work on your CGPAs. Okay, and regarding projects, as I mentioned, like if you're a fresher, it's really not needed that you have 5 to 6 projects or you have any important projects. I feel that if you're an electrical engineer, you have a mini project, you have a major project, okay, and you do them thoroughly, believe me, that's enough. You just need to do that thoroughly. Like in engineering, what we do is we form a group and one of them is working and the other two are not working. Okay. So if you do like that, and like what will you answer them if somebody asks you about your project, right? So it's better like you do those 2 projects only, but you do that by yourself, that, so that if somebody asks, because what will a CEO ask a fresher? Obviously about their projects, right? And
Yes.
they're not at all looking for how major project you have done. What they're looking for is what you have done, that's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Regarding you told about shortlisting through ATS is the term I have heard a lot, that it automatically shortlists the resume. Like you told, one criteria is CG. So is there any first thing like the first is CG and then any order is there?
See, I
Like
am not so particular about these things, but yes, your CG is definitely one of the things that you should take care of. Second thing is the skills that you're mentioning in your resume. Let's say I'm a formal, like I'm sitting for formal verification interview, and in my skills I'll put business analytics or Google Analytics. Then obviously, like it won't be like the recruiter is not going to select me, right? But in skills, if I put things like, let's say, formal verification or Jasper or anything, then obviously they'll think that okay, I have, like, given that I know those skills, you cannot put up skills just for getting selected, because at the end of the day they're going to ask you about that. So the thing is, if you're sitting for some interview, let's say I'm a student and am sending my profile to different companies, then you tailor your CV according to that. I'll suggest that. Yeah.
okay, ma'am. And the keywords which we match, that comes from experience. Like if
Yeah.
we have actually worked, we'll know the words like that. Yes.
You can, like, for a fresher, you can put up digital electronics, system verilog. You can put up these things, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Got it,
But
ma'am.
if you put up control systems or electrical machines, it's not going to work.
True.
Yeah.
True. True, ma'am. So that was a really nice discussion on how to go for off-campus and prepare for VLSI as a fresher. And thank you, really thankful for that, ma'am. You shared that, and you now switch to ARM at Cambridge. So how's Cambridge and your experience there? How long it's
So
been, by the way, ma'am?
it's been 2 months. I came here in
Okay.
January. It's
Okay.
March now. So I came here in very bad months. So it's totally very cold over here right now. Like the winter month is going on. So I'm hardly surviving here right now. It's very cold. I'm just waiting for summer to begin here, because I have heard the summer in Cambridge is really beautiful, but the winter is really harsh. I miss India.
Yes, on the northern hemisphere it lies. So yeah, I can understand. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, so how's there and the living culture, people?
Oh,
How's it different from India?
like the working culture is, I'll say it's better over here than India. And by working culture, I mean the work-life balance basically. So they take a lot of care about, activities that can engage employees. For example, they take a lot of care about health. So they provide a lot of gymming sessions, like they do some kind of spin wheel gymming, and then they have separate sessions for these boxing classes and all that. So, and you have art classes as well, you have guitar learning classes. Like, I'll say the work life balance is pretty good over here. Yeah. And like when I transferred over here, so arm took care of all the things, like my visa process and all my things, shifting from like whatever things I had, shifting them from here through cargo and all. So it was, and like when I came here also, they gave me a stay for first 1 month so that I don't have to worry about where I'm going to stay and all. So
Yes,
yeah, it is a very good company and the work culture, the work-life balance is really nice. Everything is very structured over here. So yeah, it is a good experience.
ma'am. Wishing that it goes like this in the years coming. Yes, ma'am. And so I believe we have covered most of the aspects. And if you were to say any concluding remarks to the people who will be watching this video, what would that be? Like I've seen your LinkedIn cover photo, and it's quite
Yeah.
philosophical. So if in that context, if you'd like to say.
So, see, I don't have any specific life mantra or something. So, it's just that I'm really a very ambitious person. So, if I want something, okay, so what I do is I put my 100% into it. I make sure I have taken all the resources and I'm putting my 100%. There can be two outcomes. Either I get that, which will be really good for me, or if let's say I don't get it, then also it's fine because I'm not going to regret. I have put in my 100%. So yeah, that's my life mantra. Put your 100% into whatever you're doing. And like you don't need to worry about, worry so much about your career or something. You need to worry enough to make it a good career. That's it. Like things just happen when you pursue, like when you put in, that much effort. So I'll tell you one thing. I was preparing for NEET actually in my 12th grade, but I couldn't get into NEET. I didn't qualify it. So I qualified advanced and I joined IIT. Like that was really a career switch for me. But yeah, since I joined IIT in electrical, I wholeheartedly pursued electrical engineering without any, diversion in the career. And many people say that, okay, electrical engineers don't get that much job or something like that. But since I wholeheartedly pursued it, at the end of the fourth year, I somehow got into Intel, right? And while I was preparing for CAT, I got into Intel. So that's what I say. Like, if you put your whole heart into something, sooner or later, it is going to happen. Okay. So, yeah, don't be so, like, don't worry so much about things. Sooner or later, things will fall into place. You might end up in a different career, or you might end up in a path where you have not planned it, but as long as you are enjoying it, as long as you're making sure that you're putting 100% in the path, that path is going to lead you into a better place. That's what I say.
uh, Really blessed to hear all this from you, ma'am. And yeah, honesty in our work is indeed very crucial. And
Mm.
I guess we'll have to wrap up. And so thank you so
Yeah.
much, ma'am, for this enriching session for the VLSI for all, and as well as for me. And yeah, really grateful for this. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope it helps everybody who sees this. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Looking forward to more collaborations in future. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Definitely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a
I'll
nice day.
leave. Yeah,
Sure.
have a nice day. You too.